Hi, welcome to BG24 Public Affairs Show. I'm Gary Malveaux, and this is Jasmine Burnett and Ejante Hall.
And on tonight's show, we'll be joined by Kathy Nuala, the founder of Alicia's Voice. She'll be here to talk about domestic violence awareness month.
That's right. Then later on, we'll be joined by Sharday Black and Annette King, two representatives from BGSU's organization, Pretty Brown Girls Club.
Those should both be very interesting. Then later on, we'll be chatting live about a recent decision from a terminally ill woman made and the controversy it's stirring up.
It should be a great show tonight. Stay tuned because it all happens here after the break. Hi, welcome back to BG24 Public Affairs Show. I'm here with Kathy Nuala from Alicia's Voice. Glad for you to join us today.
Thank you for having me.
All righty then, so we're just going to get right into the discussion. Thank you for coming here for Domestic Violence Awareness Month. So could you tell me a little bit about Alicia's Voice and what made you start it?
Well, unfortunately, the reason for Alicia's Voice is on March 29th, 2007, my daughter Alicia was murdered to domestic violence. She was in a relationship for 10 years, in an abusive relationship, and she had finally left the situation and had been out of it for approximately 5-6 months. And on that night, the father of 2 of her children decided that he was going to end her life. And so he came into her house at 3 a.m. in the morning, shot her 5 times at point blank range with a 9mm gun. And Alicia had a boyfriend there, and he shot John Mitchell as well 4 times. The children were all there. They were 10 months, 5 years old, 8 years old, and 10 years old. And the 3 oldest little girls all saw the aftermath of what happened to their mother. I knew at that point that I had to do something so no other woman would have to go through what Alicia went through, or any other children would have to go through what my grandchildren went through, or any other mother go through what I was going through. So I started Alicia's Voice, which was an organization to help women get out of their abusive relationships and to stay out before something like this happened.
Well, thank you. That is very, very touching. Like I said, thank you. You're so strong for coming to today's show. Some certain reports say that there's a lot of numbers of domestic violence cases that aren't reported. Could you tell us why that could possibly be?
I think the main reason they aren't reported is mainly because of shame. So many victims are just ashamed of what they're going through. They don't want anybody to know. Like in my daughter's case, I know there were probably many times that she was abused before she finally told me about the abuse. And I know that afterwards, once I knew about the abuse and Alicia would call the police, she was ashamed to have the police show up at her house so the neighbors could see it. They are also afraid to leave their abusers because they are the ones that hold the purse strings in a lot of cases. And there's just so many reasons why, an abuser doesn't leave, and it takes, statistics say, 9 to 11 times before they finally do leave.
Oh man. Were you trying to give Alicia a little bit of, maybe you should did you try to get her to leave when she finally found out that she was being abused?
I did try to get her to leave, but once again, and this is unbelievable, but those victims love their abusers. They're in love with them. And for many different reasons, you would think that wouldn't be the case, but it is. And I know that probably until the second Craig pulled that trigger, Alicia loved him. She had moved on, but she moved on because she knew she couldn't do it anymore, and she knew she had to get her children away from that kind of abuse. And because children do learn what they live, and it's very important not to have these things go on in front of your children.
Right. So Alicia's Voice, Citizens Against Domestic Violence, is to spread common knowledge about domestic violence. Can you tell us a definition? Because a lot of people think or misconstrue that domestic violence is just dealing with physical altercations.
It is not just physical. It is also mental. It is also, like I said earlier, controlling the purse strings.
Right.
It's all about, domestic violence is all about control in one way or another. First of all, a lot of it is physical, but then as well as in my daughter's case, a lot of it was verbal.
Okay.
And the things that they can say and do to you to make you lose self-respect, to make you lose self-confidence, because that's how they get their power
Right.
over you.
Besides awareness with Alicia's Voice, what else are you all doing for Domestic Violence Month?
Well, I am actually speaking tomorrow at a high school in Archibald.
Okay.
And the Pettisville High School will also be joining us there. So I do a lot of that. I speak here at the university to a lot of different classes. And we are also holding, not just this month, but every month, a women's empowerment group in Perrysburg with Dr. Karen Ackerman Spain. She runs this group, and it is a group for women to come and become empowered and to get out of their abusive relationships and to learn how to stay out of them.
Right.
And to learn how to move on and to be able to take care of themselves without having to worry about, you know, having to stay with their abusers. And that's what the main thing about Alicia's Voice has always been, to empower these women to get out. And we have done that over the last 7.5 years financially in many ways. We have paid for schooling for women to go to school so they can support themselves and their children.
That's always great to hear. And are you all still located in downtown BG, or did you all location move?
We have been located in downtown BG, but we recently moved, and the reason we did is because it was time for the rent to come up again, and we wanted to use those monies towards a victim. So we've moved into the courthouse in Perrysburg.
All right. Do you all have any upcoming, does Alicia Voice has any upcoming events coming up within the next month or so, besides the events that you had already talked about?
Not right now. Those are usually held, we have a golf outing in the summer and a concert in the summer, and usually something in the winter.
All right. Thank you so much, Kathy, for being here. Like I said, I hope that your family is doing well, and I think you are a very strong woman for coming on the show and talking about this today. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for being here. Like I said, if you know anybody who is a victim of domestic violence, please call the National Domestic Violence Hotline at 1-800-799-7223. Visit aliciasvoice.org for more tips and engagement. Please keep it locked, because next we have Ashley Norman and Annette King from Pretty Brown Girls.
We're back with Sharday Black and Annette King from BGSU's new campus organization, Pretty Brown Girls. How are you ladies?
We're good. How are you? Thanks
Amazing. Oh, anytime. I'm so excited to have you guys here. I've been trying to get y'all for weeks. So, tell us what PBG is.
Pretty Brown Girl Club, Collegiate Ambassador Club, is a mentoring organization primarily for collegiate women, and our emphasis is to mentor young girls grades K through 12, and just to celebrate all shades of brown and empower young ladies to dream big, think big, be positive, love who they are and the women that they'll become.
That's very important, because with us, women of color, there's often a disconnect.
Yes.
And it's good to see you ladies come together and do something positive. Now, your founders, there's an interesting story about why it was founded. Do you want to share?
Yes, our founders is Sherry Crawley and her husband Corey, and the purpose of creating the Pretty Brown Girl Club is because of their 2 young daughters. They ended up going to a predominantly white school. There, they started to notice that their confidence was dwindling a little bit, so their daughters would ask them, you know, why isn't my hair long and blonde, or why is my skin color like this and theirs is like that? So the husband went around the house calling them pretty brown girls. So that's where it came from.
That's an interesting story, because especially if you're in a school and you are different,
Yes.
you start to question, why are you different? Because I went through something like that in school, so that's very relatable.
Yes, definitely.
Now, you guys, you're only the 3rd collegiate chapter, right, behind Spelman and
U of M.
U of M. So what made you guys charter a chapter here?
You know, I think our founder, Ashley Brown, she just saw that we needed it, that she's worked with young ladies in Toledo through Upward Bound, and just saw a need and thought that it would be a wonderful organization to have on campus to empower young women, as well as to empower young girls in Toledo and the surrounding communities.
So how can students get involved?
Well, you can follow us on social media, as well as we'll be having general body meetings.
Yes, you can always just come up to one of us. It's 6 of us on the board. So if you see us, come up to us, say hi. You don't have to be a mentor or anything. You can still pay dues and become an ambassador. This is a nationwide organization. So
You mentioned social media. Would you like to shout your Instagram and Twitter out?
Yes, you can follow us at Instagram or Twitter at PBG_BGSU.
So we go back to the mentoring. So what are the requirements to be a mentor?
To be a mentor, you have to have a 2.75 GPA minimum. You must be in good academic standing with the university. Be willing and eager to serve young girls grades K through 12, and be at least of sophomore status. We just feel like we need young girls who have somewhat had their freshman experience already and now are sort of molded and groomed and ready to do other things.
So you said you do not have to be a mentor to be involved. So if you do not want to be a mentor but want to be involved, what can you do?
well, like I said, you can always come to one of us, the 6 of us. You can still go to our general body meetings. You can support us on social media. I know a lot of girls who did not want to become a mentor, they still supported us at our bake sales, and we just have a lot of events that we're just open to everybody to come in. Like,
and most importantly, we're ambassadors before mentors.
Right.
And so young ladies who are still interested in being involved, visiting the schools but maybe not being a mentor, you can pay your your national dues and still be involved in helping planning events on campus as well as off campus. You just may not have as close of a relationship with the girls as the mentors will.
And you pay your dues at the national website, right?
Yes.
yes.
Okay.
PrettyBrownGirl.com.
Okay. So do you have any upcoming events?
Yes, our upcoming events, we plan on doing a fundraiser for McDonald's and Chipotle sometime in November and December. I know our past events, of course, we had a bake sale, and we already went to Scott High School and we recruited.
How was that?
It was great. We got about 50 girls.
No.
Yes.
I'm from
and
Toledo,
it
so
was-
I know.
It was so great to see so many people willing to come up there and ask us about our organization, so it was great. We actually just got done picking mentors, so next week we are having our
Mentor orientation.
our mentor orientation. So once we get that together, we're gonna have events rolling in. So
Yes.
You guys have a pledge that you guys say. I went to the first meeting, and you guys say it at the meetings, and I believe you say it with the girls, right?
Yep.
yes, we say it at the end of every meeting, and our pledge is to dream big. Remember to love ourselves inside and out. I'm sorry, I'm getting nervous.
You're fine.
Enjoy learning and laughing. Always believe in myself and make healthy choices.
Yep.
There we go.
Community. Yes, so you got
Okay,
it.
I got it. I know it by heart.
Now, is there anything else that you would like us to know about the organization?
Yes, feel free if you want to learn more about us, attend our general bodies that we'll be having in November, follow us on social media, and just if you see one of us, please don't hesitate to ask. We're willing and more than ready to tell you more about the org, and hopefully you'll get involved.
Once again, it is such a positive thing because there's nothing like that on campus, and there never has been anything like that on campus. And once again, it's really good to see women of color, because your exec board, like I said, was very powerful. So it was great to see all of you guys together. And I'm sure you guys will have a lot of success on campus and with those girls at Scott, because that's a real.
We don't want to forget, empower a girl, empower the world. Definitely.
Yes. Thank you, ladies, again for being here. It's always amazing to see women coming together for a positive cause. When we return, we'll be discussing a woman who has become the face of a very controversial cause. Stay tuned.
And welcome back. And our favorite part of the show is discussion. All right, so Brittany Maynard, 29 years old, diagnosed with grade 2 this is such a hard word to say. Astro should have told me, get it together. I got it, a severe brain tumor that she has. So lead us into it, Ejante.
So like she said, Brittany Maynard, she was diagnosed with that cancer, and she was looking into other options, to fight the cancer. Well, after tirelessly looking for answers, she found nothing. So then she stumbled across a compassionate death. So she decided that she was going to, alongside with her family, take 100 sleeping pills. And that would be how she ended her life, because she wanted to go with dignity. And that's respectable,
It's very
don't you
respectful,
think?
yes.
Because she didn't want to suffer all of that time, so she decided, and it would be painful for her because she would lose a lot of her brain function. Her body is strong, so basically her mind would just be suffering. And so that's what she decided she was going to do.
And she also wanted her family to be with her when she passed, yeah.
Do you think that that's ethical? A lot of people are saying it's like suicide.
Well, what I found out is this is technically what she is going through is called assisted suicide, or dying with dignity. It's only allowed or it's only legal in 5 states: Oregon, Washington, Vermont, New Mexico, and Montana. So those are the only 5 states, and then you have other countries that are who also allow this. She's set to actually take the pills a couple of days after her husband's birthday. So November 1st is when it's her time to go. So she had a set date. And like you said, she wanted to be her best friend, her husband, and her mother. She was the only child. And now I just feel like this is really a touchy. This is really a touchy topic for some. A lot of people are claiming it's not legal, and a lot of people are saying it's okay. But what I think is, if a person commits a crime and they're in court and the judge say you have been sentenced to lethal injection, if a judge can determine how you die, then why can't me as my own person with dignity determine how I want to die?
And that's what she's saying. She said that it's not to get attention. She's not doing it for like the media or for anyone. She's doing it for herself because this is what she thinks is the best option.
And the key here is that she is terminal. You have to be terminal, even in the states where it is legal, to
go through with this.
Exactly. And that's what's important. It's not like it's just a senseless thing that she's doing. And it's something that many of the people are well thought out before they do it. And there are like steps that you have to go through. You have to request it multiple times before your physician can even prescribe you the pills to do so. So I personally support anything that makes people happy. And if that's what she wants to do, she's ill and her family is supporting it, then I support it.
I think we need to go back to the beginning, because what happened was, this was actually like right after her wedding, she started getting these really bad headaches. So they were like debilitating. And so she went to the doctor, and then she shortly found out later that it was terminal cancer. And that was when she decided to go through with it. She actually didn't live in one of the states where this was legal.
She was in
so
California.
She uprooted her and her husband, and they both moved to Oregon.
So
that's a huge.
That's a big step. When it's when this whole thing is, your doctor has to tell you have 6 months or less to live. This is the only way that you're able to go through this. So that means you have to go through, sign this paper saying that you are knowledgeable. You've done everything. You know the diagnosis, the prognosis, and you know everything that can happen to you. It also states that if you do go ahead with the assisted suicide, usually the death takes within 3 hours, but it can actually take longer
than that.
up into months. So she's prepared to do this, to take this step. This happens in less than 3 weeks, and she's totally prepared for this.
And she's been getting a lot of hate mail from like Christian rights groups and stuff, saying that like she needs to choose Jesus and that she shouldn't be going down this path. But it's her choice to make, isn't it? It's not
I believe that
theirs.
it's her choice to make. And like we said, she's done a lot of research with it. And she said, if November 1st is a good day, she will not do it. But she does want to do it before her 30th birthday, which is coming up in November, because she said it's just too hard to bear. But if her family supports her, I believe it's a good thing. But you're always going to have some type of backlash, especially when we are fighting suicide, with all the children killing themselves. And that's the problem here. But I think it's important to focus on that this is different. This is not a senseless suicide. It is different. These people are terminally ill and don't want to suffer and don't want their family to watch
And she's been taking medications too for the pain and stuff, so it's obviously very great. And with brain cancer, it actually like delays your like functions, and you kind of turn into a different person than you were before the cancer, because it eats away your brain. So that's hard. So this is a big decision for her.
So the question I would like to pose to you all: should this be allowed everywhere?
Like I said, I support it. I think as long as it is regulated properly and it's not something you can just do quickly, then yes.
I also agree, yes.
And I agree also. All right. Stay tuned because after the break, we'll be telling you what to expect next week on BG24 Public Affairs.
That's our show for tonight. Thank you for joining us.
Are you interested in learning how to lend a helping hand here in BG? Then join us for next week's show. We'll be joined by the BGSU student organization Aid for Change.
That's right. We will also be learning about a new BGSU student success with a new app.
Sounds like a really good show, guys.
I'm loving it. I can't
Yeah,
I'm
I'm
so
excited
excited for this. All right, so that's it for tonight's show. Good night, everyone. Thank you for listening.